Hey my friends, welcome back to my channel. Thank you guys so much for coming. Thank you guys so much for sticking and staying with me. And for those who are here for the first time, welcome, and I appreciate you for stopping by. All right, today we're going to be making our own homemade seasonings from scratch. All right, so we're going to be using some fresh ingredients from the market. So some of the pros into making your own seasoning is the fact that you know your palate, you know your taste and what you like, so you get to control what goes in your seasoning. You get to control the sodium that goes in your seasoning. And if you want to get creative, you can also start your own little business. So the first thing I'm going to do is rinse them off in some baking soda and vinegar just to make sure that I remove all the impurities that may be on them. All right, and then I'm going to give them a second rinse. So some of the cons of making your own seasoning is the fact that you have to have patience and you have to put in the time and the work. All right, so if this is not for you, it's just not for you. But I like to take my time when I'm doing stuff, make sure all my stuff is clean and ready, and I just spend my day and do what I love to do. So everything that I'm using here will be listed in the comment section on Facebook, and on YouTube it will be in the description box. However, the stuff that you see me using, you can go ahead and alter it and make the seasoning your own. Whatever herbs that you like that you didn't see me add, or whatever spices, you can go ahead and add it as well. Okay, so make it your own, because there may be something that I love and I keep it for myself without sharing it to you. But everything that I'm sharing here, these are all the basic things that you would need to start making your seasoning. So if you don't have a dehydrator, one option is you can place this in your oven at the lowest setting and allow them to dehydrate. Another option is, if you live in a tropical country, it's nice and bright and sunny, make sure you have your baking sheet, spread them on your baking sheet, place them outside in the sun and cover them with a mesh. All right, like a mosquito mesh or something, and allow it to dehydrate in the sun. All right, so I'm adding everything to my dehydrator. The tomato is not going to be added to my seasonings, but I'm going to just keep them separate and add it to whatever I want to add it to, because not everything that you're cooking you want to taste tomato in it. So for the veggies that are chopped and are too small to go on the dehydrator because they will fall through the holes, I just cut out a parchment paper to match the dehydrator and put them on it. Alright, so I'm going to allow these to dehydrate until they are nice and crunchy and there is no moisture in them. Alright, these are my carrots that are going to go in the oven because there's no more space on my dehydrator, and this is what it looks like after it's dehydrated. So for my chicken seasoning, I'm going to cut up my chicken, and I'm also going to cut up some ginger, some onion, and some garlic. Remember, all the other vegetables that I'm going to use for my chicken seasoning is already dehydrated, so the only thing that wasn't dehydrated are my onions and my garlic and my ginger. The onion and the garlic, if you dehydrate this in your house, you're going to be sorry. So you either have to bring your dehydrator outside, or you can do what I do and just add it to the chicken and pop them in the oven so that little odor can get to go away. I added some paprika to the mix to give my chicken some color, and I'm going to put them on a parchment paper on my baking sheet and place them in the oven at 400 degrees for 20 minutes. You can go ahead and just leave this to dehydrate on the dehydrator after that. So I'll give them 20 minutes to kind of, get rid of those odors from the onions and the garlic, and then I'm going to place them on my dehydrator. So the smaller the chicken, the quicker the process. So everything is on this one sheet. I'm going to dehydrate it. So you can hear the crunch in the vegetables, the crunch in the chicken. You know your vegetables and your meat is properly dehydrated. There shouldn't be any moisture at all. So I've added everything to my blender. First, I'm blending all my vegetables because I want to separate them and leave some for vegetable seasoning only and some to make my chicken seasoning. So this portion that I have here, they are my vegetable seasoning. We're going to set that aside. We're not done with it as yet. And I am going to go ahead and do my chicken. So I add the remaining veggies with the chicken, and I want the chicken to be in smaller pieces before adding it to my blender. If you have a big powerful blender, then that's fine. But I chop them out first in the processor, and then I add them to the blender, and I'm going to grind them, all right, to powder. I also have my dehydrated parsley that I'm going to chop up separately to add to my seasonings. To my chicken seasoning, I'm adding some cayenne powder, garlic powder, paprika, onion powder, and black pepper. I'm going to add some salt as well to give my seasoning taste. So you limit the amount of salt that you want in your seasoning when you're adding your salt. I also added some brown sugar to my chicken seasoning. I'm gonna also add some annatto in there to give it some color. It's nothing harmful. This is what they use to give cheese its color, so it's nothing harmful, but it's also optional. It's just to give the chicken seasoning a little brighter color, and it does not alter the taste. So after doing all of this, I'm gonna add everything back in the blender and combine properly. All right, so I already have some jars that are sterilized that I'm gonna add these in, and we're also gonna label them. All right, so now that my chicken seasoning is done, I'm gonna add some parsley flakes to the vegetable seasoning. I'm adding some salt, some garlic powder, onion powder, and I'm also adding some parsley flake to that as well. So I went ahead and I sterilized all my containers that I'm gonna add my seasoning in. I'm also gonna be adding some labels on them so that I can differentiate them. So for my chicken seasonings, I got 3 mason jars, and this one has the red pepper flakes in there. This is what I'm gonna use when I'm making grilled fish or grilled chicken, anything grilled, but it's not everything that I cook that I like red pepper flakes in. So this is why I only put it in one. In that very jar that has the red pepper flakes, I have a whole bunch of rosemary in my backyard, so I may dehydrate some and add it in there because I do love rosemary in my grilled chicken. So in that grilled jar of seasoning, I may add some rosemary in there. As I say, you can go ahead and just experiment, add some stuff that you love, and yeah, know that you have seen the process. Let me know if you have the time and the patience, and if you would try making your own seasoning. All right, thank you guys so much for sticking and staying with me. I appreciate you so much. If you have make it to the end of this video, just leave me a heart emoji in the comment section. Thank you guys so much for watching. I also have my dried tomatoes. Yeah, I'm gonna blend them and use them separately. All right, thank you guys so much. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. I love you all, and I'll see you guys in my next one.